Hello everyone, I'm Nada and this is
Hey.
Joe, and we're both the co-founder of Tourleb. Tourleb is actually a social enterprise. We're a tour operator operating from Lebanon.
Actually, that Lebanon is a very patriarchal country, and most of the tourism jobs are held by men. So we really have to try very hard to be respected and listened to by men.
Which is on a daily basis a huge challenge. Now, what we've been doing and what we're still doing and what we're trying to do on a daily basis is to actually give a chance to women to work in that field. That field is very large, so we need a lot of women working in different sectors. First of all, let's talk about driving. Driving in Lebanon already is a challenge, but more than that, to be respected as a woman who's a driver is not always an easy part. Sometimes when we have, for example, private groups, and Joel and I, or even someone else who has to actually drive a group, is very challenging because even women cannot trust women in a car.
Especially for buses, all the bus drivers are men, and one of our challenges and one of the things we have been working on relentlessly up until the crisis last year was to try to find women drivers of buses. And we're talking about either small sized or mid-sized or big sized buses, and it has been one of the most complicated tasks ever because there are women driving buses, or women drivers, but they are not trusted. No one will hire them and no one wants to work with them because who trusts a woman behind the wheel?
Our second challenge is actually to find local guides, mountain guides that are women. Of course, we could build a small network of local guides and mountain guides that are women, but this is also another challenge because even women find it a bit, challenging to follow a woman, because we still have in the mentality of the country that the leader on a trail should be a man. So it's also very difficult, but we have people like Jackie and Vilma and people that are really wonderful who started working as mountain guides, but we need more people, and this is also another challenge and something we've been working on. So any tips would be wonderful to how to convince women to start being guides on mountain trails, and or to be local guides everywhere in Lebanon.
There is an advantage, though, is that yes, Lebanon is more open than other Middle Eastern countries, and that women have access, of course, to the work market. But the mentality in the mountains is that, in rural areas, is that women have mostly one task, and it is stay at home, be a homemaker, get married, and have kids. This is why not many women choose to follow that profession. The women we've been working with, the mountain guides, we've worked a lot with them. We've tried our best to empower them, to give them tips, to encourage them, and we've been lucky in the sense that so far we have created amazing partnerships, and these guides have evolved a lot, worked a lot on their capacities, and they have become amazing mountain guides, and they are very successful in their business. So this is a good thing.
Some of these mountain guides are also and told us their stories, for example, and their challenges. When they had groups, they even themselves, they were more comfortable having a man with them guiding, guiding like a tandem with a man and a woman. And slowly they took over and started guiding themselves. So this was a challenge. We're still working on it, but we have a couple of guides, maybe 5 or 6 that are mountain guides. In the national guides part, we don't have a problem because most of them are women. So this is, for example, this is something very good. So we're working with a lot of women. That doesn't mean we don't work with men. We do work with men, but then our challenge is actually to find a way to talk in a way where men also respect us as women being head of a tour operator.
Because Nada was saying, because it's a men country, we have to work with men, whether we like it or not. Of course, we want to work with men. That's not the point. But we also have to find ways, creative ways, to be respected and listened to by men, because many of them are not used to either having a tour leader that's a woman, or that of having a boss who's a woman, or having, you know, someone making the decisions that's not a man. So that's also a challenge to be listened to, respected. For example, my favorite thing to say is that Nada is a human GPS. She knows all the roads. She just takes the road once, and it's memorized and will never get lost again. But the drivers don't listen to her. If she tells them take that road and not that one, they will want to ignore her, because, you know, they're the drivers and they know all the roads. But in reality, she is a human map, and she does know all the roads. And it's very difficult to get a driver convinced that they should take this road instead of that.
So anyway, so it's true, it's a challenge, but we've been so far lucky enough to find a couple of women and to work with them. But we need a lot of work. We need a lot of also advices on how to train women to be less afraid to take the chances to become leaders. And this is something I think we need a lot to work on. In another sector, for example, Tourleb, as a social enterprise, we help a lot of people, not only on in the tourism sector, but for example, people that are living in different areas. So after, for example, the 4th August blast, we've been there on the field to work with NGOs and people that have lost their homes, that needed, food because of the economical crisis, etc. And we've been lucky enough to work with a lot of women, because a lot of women created small NGOs and local NGOs, and for us it was actually. We were grateful actually to find a lot of women helping out. We helped a lot of, for example, women, older women, elders, because they are marginalized. They're living alone. They don't have kids. So we helped a lot, and we were lucky enough to have this network of women all helping each others, and we didn't think it was possible, but it was. So this is something. We're grateful for.
Another population that we've worked with and we've been able to help a bit was the GLBT, well, mostly women, whether they were living alone or in couple. They were also very hardly hit after the August 4th blast, so we managed to help a few people. And there's another field in which women are actually, more present than men. I'm not going to say better, and it is the dog rescuing field. All the people we work with are women. They are absolutely amazing. They do an extraordinary job at rescuing dogs and helping finding them homes, whether it's in Lebanon or abroad. We've been lucky that we've established amazing partnerships and friendships with those women, and this is how we are able to continue rescuing dogs and sending them, whether in Europe or in Canada.
So the challenges are huge, but we've managed since 2013. So when we came back from Canada, from 2013 till today, to have small networks of women here and there, and to try to actually continue working these networks of women with other networks of men, and trying to actually help out as many people as we can. Because us, Tourleb, as a social enterprise, what we want is we want that people live from tourism all over Lebanon, in every region of Lebanon. And Lebanon is a very rich country. We have artisans, we have artists, we have people who work in the food sector, we have a lot of nature, we have a lot of cultural site, etc., etc. We have a lot of archaeologists, for example, that are all women. So we try in our tours also to empower them and to give them a space to come and talk about their work as archaeologists, as people who do research, for example, at people also, women who also work in history. And even in our tours, when we talk about the history of Lebanon, we always mention this small part of women, a lot of them that are not mentioned in history, that did major changes. So sometimes, for example, we can do teams outings where we talk about a woman in particular and how she managed to actually build up something, and we follow her traces, the houses, the stuff she built, etc., etc. So we try to empower them as much as we can, because we don't need to forget that women are part of the history of Lebanon, stuff that people are unfortunately forgetting. And last but not least, and one of our challenges we're working now on, is that we know that a group of men have been working on creating a small network of responsible ecotouristic tour operators, and for now they're not inclusive. They're not including tour operators like us that are led by women, and I think that for that we will have a long way to go. So this is another part we're trying to work on.
So, I mean, as you can see and as you can know, being a woman is already in itself challenging. There's no country on earth where it comes very easily, and in Lebanon and the Middle East in particular, it's extra challenging. And if you add on top of it the economic crisis after the August 4 blast and all the other factors, we are lucky, we are privileged. We have been able to do a lot in empowering women, in visiting women, in adding women history and stories to our narrative. We have access to a lot of information. A lot of women help us build our company and build our work. We have women employees who are just amazing. They're not even employees, they are team members, and they, add so much value to what we do. But of course, it doesn't stop here. There's always more to do.
So from now on, what are our targets and what are we working on? So we're working on, first, what we want is to establish all the women that are ready to start working in the sector. Second, we are trying to establish people who will help us to find training so that these women feel comfortable enough to lead a group. And third, of course, we continue empowering and showing what the women have been doing in this country for them, because a lot of them are actually the ones supporting their families. So this is our plan for now. Our plan for the next year and the years after is to actually work on how to establish and how to widen our network.
And one of our future projects is to include women with different abilities.